Welcome to Up Level, Real Health, Real Talk with Dr. Jenna Blasi. I'm Dr. Jenna. I spent years crafting ways to help women thrive, and I want to help you do the same. On this podcast, we dive deep into health at every level, focusing on the mind, the body, and the spirit. This is where real conversations meet transformational wellness. We'll be talking about all the things that truly matter, from nutrition and fitness to lifestyle, mindset, and personal development. Plus, the real deal on managing stress and navigating menopause. So if you're ready to elevate your health journey with authentic, transformative insights, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, welcome back to Up Level. We're going to dive into that holiday talk. I know it's only the beginning of November, but this is when it starts. This is really when our excuses and letting things go start to escalate. As many of my mentors have said, we can have results or excuses, not both. Are you tired of not living the life you want? Are you tired of not feeling good in your body and feeling in integrity with yourself and how you want to live? So I want to talk about the holiday health mindset and revisit the idea of progress, not perfection, because we've talked about that all or nothing thinking. So I want to focus on and do a deeper dive into staying committed and consistent through the holiday season without guilt, without burnout, without losing our joy and sanity. All right. We've got to stop these patterns and know that we can. All right. The holidays are coming. They're here. We just got done with Halloween, and then you start seeing candy everywhere. So we all know that this is a season when routines get tossed, stress rises, perfectionism sneaks in. So today, let's talk about really staying committed in a way that's workable, in a way that's lasting and not miserable. So I've talked about, some of the struggles that I've had recently. And I will tell you, every time I really try to stay perfect, it goes the other direction. So today I want to really talk about, let's get rid of the guilt. Guilt is not helping us. How do we kind of check in with what's really going on and then reframe our mindset? Because the holidays often trigger that all or nothing thinking. Oh, well, I already ate one cookie. I guess I'll just eat the whole bag. Or my whole day is ruined, so forget it now. Or I missed that one workout or a few workouts, so I might as well skip the whole week. Progress mindset versus perfectionism mindset. All right, progress mindset, you're focusing on consistent, small wins rather than isolated slip-ups. And if you identify with those slip-ups, as we've talked about, it's going to be harder to change. So stop identifying with the past you. Create the you that you want that's in integrity with how you want to live, which doesn't mean you're perfect, but it means you keep getting back up and getting consistent, because the perfection mindset is rigid, it's punishing, it's not flexible, and it's all about short-term motivation. And we know from studies that all of these things that I'm talking about matter. Self-compassion has been found to improve adherence to health behaviors. So guilting yourself makes you feel worse about yourself, which makes you less likely to make healthy choices. Self-compassion makes you improve staying in line with those health behaviors that you want. It improves adherence to health behaviors. And we've also found the same to be true with flexible nutrition. I'm not even going to call it dieting, because diets fail. Right? You haven't failed the diet has failed you. Flexible nutrition and flexible routines increase long-term success. So one study found that more than one, but one specifically I'm thinking of from the Journal of Social Psychology, micro goals and small daily wins have been shown to improve habit retention. Get ready for it. 70 to 80%. 70 to 80%. So micro goals, just mini goals. Stop trying to take on the world. And small daily wins improve habit retention 70 to 80% compared to all or nothing approaches. And then you're just on that roller coaster, all or nothing, all or nothing. So be compassionate, let go of the guilt, and self-compassion is going to allow you to continue despite imperfection. We are perfectly imperfect. We're all imperfect. The Betty Rockers, she says, we're flawsome, right? We're flawsome. So momentum matters more than the slip. So as we go into this season, I want you to anchor your habits, but don't overcommit. So identify 1 to 2 key habits that carry the most impact for you. For example, protein at every meal, daily movement, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. The other night I had the worst night's sleep I have had in a really long time. And I felt it yesterday. And I just got back on track. Some of it was me, there were a lot of factors that went into it, but I got a really great night's sleep last night and I'm back. So again, figure out what are those key things. Like sleep is a big one for a lot of us. What are those 1 to 2 key habits that are going to have the most impact, and keep the other less essential, let's call them less essential goals, flexible. And then going deeper into that idea of micro goals instead of big goals. Big goals, like now in the mindset work, like working with Bob Proctor, like it's all about big goals and stretching yourself, but on a daily basis in terms of your habits and creating new habits, it's those micro goals that are going to really over the long term be the ones we're winning. So instead of like, oh my gosh, I'm so unhappy. I'm going to have no sugar all December. No, is this a reality check? Really? Are you going to make it all December with no sugar and then you're going to have sugar and beat yourself up? Or maybe you aim for 2, maybe 3 balanced meals before indulging. So I want you all to have big, beautiful goals, but bringing it down to the micro. Where are those micro wins? And then you have those small achievable wins and you celebrate them every day. Consistency is and it creates consistency, confidence, momentum, which feeds, it's a feedback loop, which creates more consistency, more confidence, more momentum. Every time you just spiral down, you kind of chip away at your self-worth. So if that's happened, just let it go, accept it, let it go, get back up, plan for disruption. I was just doing with my mindset group last week, a couple weeks ago now, the law of non-resistance. I love working with the law of non-resistance because what we resist persists. So if you keep fighting the diet, fighting the battle, you're actually giving a lot of energy to it. So plan for disruption and just sort of like praise it. Go, great, awesome. Holiday will disrupt my routines. Normalize it. And then utilize your tools. Pre-plan meals, schedule your workouts around the family commitments, have mini routines, 10 to 15 minute walks, stretching, meditation. Again, there's so many tools. Find the ones that work for you and then continue to integrate these mindset pieces because it always comes back to that. When we're in a good frame of mind, we tend to take better care of ourselves and make better choices. So when a slip happens, pause, reflect, and just reset. No guilt, no shame, no beating yourself up, just reset. I was talking to one of my members and she was saying that like she's doing the visualization and she's feeling into the goal and staying in that great place. And then by about 10 a.m., her alarm goes off on her phone and then she finds she's like back in the grind. And so she's really hard on herself. So I said, okay, when that happens, just start laughing. Just like make light of it. Like, oh, here I am. And just shift. So replace self-criticism with curiosity. What can I do now to move forward? What can I do now to shift my energy? What can I do now to get back on track? And then, adding in, if you're in a place, like I really suggest everybody consider adding in those mental mantras. Say to yourself, one choice doesn't define the season. I choose consistency over perfection. I am so grateful for this obstacle because I know that I'm moving in the right direction, whatever it is. And I know with affirmations, a lot of people feel like they're lying to themselves. I'm trying to remember if I've done a podcast on just affirmations. I feel like I should if I haven't. And again, DM me, contact us on social media or email us and let us know what you love to hear about. But affirmations, one of the biggest things I hear from people is they don't work, which is actually 100% not true. And research backs up, like we get what we expect, and the affirmations and sort of reframing our identity and our thoughts make a huge difference. But also people feel like they're lying to themselves. So we're not lying to ourselves, but we're coming from our future self. You can be consistent. You can be somebody who's successful. That is the real you. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. That is the real you. So come from that person with that affirmation and understand that if we repeat it enough, because most of the affirmations going on in our head, guess what? They're not true either. All that negative self-talk, it's BS. It's not true. It's from old patterns. It's from your upbringing. So start to actually choose how you want to think. So what I would say is really reframe all of this, even the holidays. The holidays are a practice ground for resilience, for awareness, for mindful choices. That just reminded me of something. What was it? Holidays are practice ground. Oh, I lost it. It'll come back because it was a good one. Or I think important enough that I believe that it will come back. So there are so many instances. I remember this one woman this is an interesting time of year for people to sign on to wellness programs, because there's that tendency of like, forget it. It's going to be too hard through the season to make any changes. So I'm just going to wait till the new year. But if we think about momentum, like, why do we keep waiting till the new year? When we wait till the new year and when we put all this weight on resolutions, we know this doesn't work and we know this doesn't last, because as I've said, like I taught fitness classes and like the gym is packed in January, less so in February. And by March, I forget what the stats are, but like a very high percentage are already done with their New Year's resolutions. They're gone. So New Year's resolutions, forget it. Stop waiting. Stop waiting. If you knew you only had till the end of the year to live, I'm not being dramatic, but would you want to be happy? Would you want to enjoy time with your family? Now, that might seem counter. You might be like, yeah, and I'll eat the cake and feel like crap. And why would I waste my time exercising? But when we don't feel good, we don't show up fully. And so the time is now. The time is always now. All we have is now. And one of the things I say to people is like, boy, when we can go through the holidays with consistency, with integrity, not perfection, and with mindfulness, they're actually much more enjoyable. And then we don't feel like we're starting at the bottom of a hill in January. We actually go into January with momentum. Now we're much more likely to actually make 2026 our best year ever. And the thing I was going to say was, I think it was Earl Nightingale. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on who said it, but commitment is easy when things are easy. Commitment is easy. Gratefulness is easy when things are going your way. But true commitment is when it's hard. True commitment is when you're sticking with it when it's hard. So gratefulness is being grateful. It's easy to be grateful when everything's going our way, but to actually be grateful in hard times. And so the holidays are practice ground. It is an amazing time to start to change your life. So anyone that's like local, meaning like Arizona, or we work with people in Oregon, like now is the perfect time. Well, it doesn't even have to be with me. Now is the perfect time to find that right team, the right coach, the right mentors, and start getting on track and learn to navigate this time of year with support and with feeling good. And then you're going to be so set up to really excel by the end of the year and going into the new year and utilizing that momentum. So what I started to say is I remember one year I signed on a new program member. I don't remember what month, but all I remember is it was coming close to Thanksgiving, and she had struggled with her weight for a long time and she had anxiety. And what she said to me was, I am so excited actually for Thanksgiving to make healthy substitutions to my favorite dishes. And she said, usually, because, like most of the people struggling with their weight, you've been on the diets and then off and on and off. And we try to do things differently. We do things differently. We don't try. We do things differently so that you get different results and lasting results. And so she said that in the past, anytime she was doing whatever, when Thanksgiving would come, it was like, forget it. I'm going to have all my favorite things. And she said, I feel so good. I think she was maybe a month into working with us, possibly 2 months. I don't remember. But she said, I feel so good that I'm excited to make the healthy substitutions this year for Thanksgiving. And she did. And she went through the whole holiday season feeling great and really having health in a completely different way, which helped her job. It helped her relationship. It helped her self-esteem, and it helped her continue that momentum, being consistent and getting great results. So remember that small, consistent actions plus self-compassion. Let's say she hadn't and she came back and went, oh my gosh, I ended up having whatever that day. Well, okay. That's fine. Now just get back on it. Self-compassion and small, consistent actions and wins equal long-term success. Success is just a series of small wins stacked up over time. So it's important to note that consistency compounds. That's why if you're consistently putting into a bank account, you're going to withdraw sometimes. But that money, if it's an investment account, is compounding. And just like our health, the more you exercise, the more healthy choices you make, the more mindset work you do, it's compounding. You're depositing into your savings account. And yeah, there's going to be times when you slip, when you withdraw, but it's compounding. So 1 or 2 missed workouts or screwed up meals or whatever, they don't undo your progress. In fact, when people are actively trying to release fat and weight, you have to be in a deficit. Okay, that's the bottom line. Like to release weight, if you have to be in a deficit. Like calories in, yes, does it matter what we eat? Yes, but if you could eat the healthiest food, but if you're not in a deficit, right, less calories than the energy that you're expending, fewer calories than the energy you're expending, you won't release weight. But what they found is people that are actively trying to release weight, so they're in a deficit. If they're in a deficit 5 days a week and then they go to maintenance for 1 or 2 days a week, they actually have better long-term success. Now, I don't like, people call these cheat days. I don't like that word because there's so much judgment associated with it. And then it's like, you can throw caution to the wind and go way over maintenance, and that's not going to be the same results. Like there's an actual amount to your maintenance depending on you and your fitness and all of that. And so I don't like the term cheat. I think it's an unhealthy relationship with food when we look at food as cheating. But maintenance days, meaning like they're in a deficit, and then they have a day or two where they eat at maintenance, then we're telling the body like it's okay, it's safe, and they actually do better. So remember, 1 or 2 missed workouts, 1 or 2 missed meals are not going to undo your progress. And depending on how it's done, like you'll still end up ahead if you're consistent. So let me just bring this all in for some integration. 3 actionable steps that you can do this week. All right. Number 1, identify your 2 non-negotiable habits for the next month. Just 30 days. Identify your 2 non-negotiable habits for this month. All right. Number 2, I encourage you to choose a mindset mantra. Choose an affirmation mindset mantra to use whenever you feel off track. Remind yourself how badass you are instead of beating yourself up all the time. All right. Number 3, schedule little moments of reprieve. Schedule micro moments, if you will, of pause, reflection, or movement each day. And then if you like journaling or you're open to trying it, you can journal around this. Like really ask yourself, where am I prioritizing perfection over progress? Where can I release, law of non-resistance? Where can I stop fighting and really just look at progress? How can I release this place where I'm holding tension? How can I release where I'm holding perfection? And just journal around like, what are the next steps to really get to my goal? And how can I release what I'm holding on to, or what do I need to release? You might ask. So do some journaling around it. And in closing, what is the key theme you heard here today and that you've heard in past episodes? Progress, not perfection, is what sustains your health, your energy, and your joy. And I'm actually going to do a whole episode on joy. And I wanted to clarify something I said, I think in the inflammation podcast a few weeks ago. I said, I think I said I did a talk at a cardiovascular summit on cardiovascular disease and joy. And afterwards, I was like, that probably made no sense. Like, what does that mean? I'm so happy I have cardiovascular disease. I don't know if you understood what I was saying, but I thought I'm really missing something in explaining this. And I just wanted to clarify, which is why I'm going to do a whole episode on joy and finding your joy, because our joy is directly related to our health. So for example, when we look at cardiovascular disease, you might have high blood pressure, for example. So when we look at stress, anxiety, lack of purpose in life, lack of joy, that's a strain on our heart. That's a strain on our nervous system. That's a strain on everything. And so finding our joy. And so when I did the cardiovascular summit, it was a little bit with a slant on menopause, because our risk for cardiovascular disease goes up dramatically in menopause, which is why, men are typically ahead of women, and then it becomes the number 1 killer of women. We equal out with men. And so there are physiological things and ways that we want to address this, how menopause is affecting our insulin resistance and our cardiovascular risk, etc. But I guarantee you, if you find your joy, that is a piece of the puzzle. It's not the only part, right? But if you find your joy, you can find your joy in eating healthy. And I think a lot of people have an idea like, I'm going to be eating, rabbit food. In fact, one of my, when I, interview people in our program member evaluations to see if we're fit for each other, I ask, like what obstacles might get in the way of you getting your health goals. And they said, if carrots, this made me laugh. If carrots are the answer, then like, there's no way. First of all, there's never just one thing. And if you don't like carrots, don't eat carrots. If it relies upon one thing, it's probably not the right path. And if it relies or requires you to consume, something that you absolutely hate, that's not a winning, sustainable formula. But over time, our taste buds change. But when we're joyful, we can feel good, and then we can feel good with healthy eating. We can feel good with moving our body. We can feel good with being able to change our mood and respond to life rather than react. So soon, possibly as early as next week, we're going to dive into maybe some measurables and looking at data and devices and wearables and how those can tie into discipline and how to use those metrics to stay on track without the stress, without the overwhelm. But I always bring it back as well, like a wearable, you still got to go with your higher guidance. And I encourage you to go within. And so anyway, I wanted to clarify that about the joy piece because I wasn't saying, it just sounded weird. So I wanted to say that like our joy, our stress contributes to our menopausal symptoms. Our joy, our stress or lack thereof contributes to our risk of cardiovascular disease. Our joy, our stress affects everything. It affects our sleep. It affects how we eat. It affects how we move. And so don't underestimate the power of finding your joy in terms of benefits for your immune system, your nervous system, your adrenals, et cetera, et cetera. So I am so grateful, speaking of joy, for all of you that listen. And I encourage you to take small, consistent steps starting today. What small, consistent step can you do today that will be a game changer? And then throughout this holiday season, I'm going to weave in and out of different health topics, but really practical solutions for getting through this time of year, feeling amazing, getting on track. And may the end of 2025 and all of 2026 and moving forward be your best years ever. All right, let's add more life to our years, not just years to our life, although let's add that too. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Share this with a friend. Let me know what was most impactful for you, and see you next time. Thanks. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uplevel, Real Health, Real Talk. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your health journey, one that nourishes not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's episode, please leave a review. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving. And remember, true wellness is a journey, and you are on the right path.